Hey everybody, welcome back to Yanks the Cop. We are here for our Liverpool versus Crystal Palace post-match analysis. Liverpool won the game in the end 3-0 and picked up a great victory. As always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Sophie. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, so let's really dive straight into it. Liverpool picked up a massive win that was needed and put us top of the table. Obviously, temporarily, now we're second based by alphabetical letter, just the most stupid thing. But yeah, so we'll start the lineup. What did you think of the lineup when you saw the official team?
Do you know what? I quite like the lineup changes because I think it's very apparent this season that Klopp is putting player welfare first as a result of what happened last year. We played players to the bone. We burnt them out and we ended up with a massive injury list. For 3 years we've played the same players consistently week in, week out for 38 games. And it proper knocked us last year. So after seeing Virgil rested for the AC Milan game, it's pretty much what I predicted, apart from Milner at right back, which I didn't see coming. The lineup was pretty much what I expected it to be, and I was happy with the changes he made because it gave key players a well-deserved break.
Yeah, I agree. When I saw the lineup, it's kind of, I wanted Konate to play because I thought Matip needed a rest, and I think Konate was further ahead in terms of fitness and stuff than Gomez. The only one that like you that threw me was obviously Trent's illness. Luckily, it wasn't COVID. Otherwise, I was pretty happy with that lineup. That was the best he could probably really put out with the players he had available.
Even, sorry to interrupt just quickly, I just think obviously in our pre-match we were talking about like the Trent Zaha link up, and it seemed that seemed to be the way they were going to go and challenge. They were going to run down that right hand side and try and exploit Trent, and that seems to be their game plan. And then obviously lineup comes up, Milner's there, who's just a workhorse, not the quickest, but he won't give up. And I think that completely spoiled the game plan, really, for going down that right side.
Yeah, we'll get on to, because obviously we'll get on to how good Milner was. Because I have to admit I was one of the people that had reservations over that because of obviously his past experience. But
I know.
Milner showed that he's still one of the best around in terms of reading the game and in terms of being a Mr. Utility man. So but yeah, so look, we look into it. Obviously, Liverpool started the game maybe the first. Just actually go in the comments first. Good to see you, Chris. Good to see you, Alan. Thanks, you've always been. Good to see you, Ravi. Good to see you, Stephen. Good to see you, Gareth. Appreciate you guys always being on the show, so we appreciate it. If you haven't done already, do smash that like, subscribe button, people. Good to see you, Doug. Yeah, so Liverpool started off the first 5 minutes a bit shaky. Palace hit the bar, I think, once, twice. And obviously it looked as if that, it was taking us a bit slower to get into the game. But then eventually I think we got a foothold and started, I think, controlling the game from there on out. I think the first one, how did you feel in terms of the first 15 minutes of the game?
Oh, it was, excuse me, sorry, it's been a long day. I actually think for the first half hour we were poor. To be completely and utterly honest, we were poor. I remember turning to my friends at exactly 26 minutes, and we were taking the ball to the corner down Cop End, and I went, "We need to fucking wake up." I said, "We're 26 minutes into the game, and they are running through us. They are absolutely ripping our midfield to shreds. And if it wasn't for our defensive back line being solid, then that could have been a very disastrous first opening 30 minutes, in my opinion. It was poor. We were not switched on. We were making sloppy mistakes. Our passes were not accurate. We weren't up to par. Definitely not the Liverpool you expect to see come out. Maybe in the first 15 minutes you'd expect that while the game settles. But it took us forever to get into the game, in my opinion. And Palace started really strong, and we were very fortunate, especially in that first opening half, to keep them out, to be truly honest with you. I normally sit here and defend the boys and find, positives, but I very I find it very difficult to find somebody in that first half hour that did what they were meant to be doing.
Yeah, it was a weird start. I don't know if it was maybe because of changes, because obviously we had Kanata playing his first game for a while for Milner at fullback. I don't know if those kind of changes kind of affected us, or maybe it's just the fact that I don't know. After the midweek game against Milan, just there was a bit of tiredness, so I don't know, rust. But yeah, I agree with you there. I don't think we were that great in the first, and I think also probably I'll give credit to Palace because, sometimes, they completely different to how they did under Hodgson. At least they went and started like trying to take the game to us and try to press us and play like attacking football, which is a big change for them. So they at least try to make it entertaining game. I think the big thing I want to go on is the Jota miss. Like, I don't think personally he had a good game at all yesterday. Overall, and I think that miss. I have a feeling if Bobby had been fit, I don't think Jota would have played yesterday. Would have started on Saturday, and I think Jota's also been in like a little run now, maybe 3 or 4 games he hasn't scored. And I think I just feel that miss was like a really bad miss. Like he had to score that. It wasn't like Marley's one where the ball came behind him. He has to just put that in the back of the net.
That was a painful miss. I don't know why he took that on the top of his boot. It wasn't even like he needed to take it off, to try and chip the keeper. There was no need. It was basically, for want of a better term, it was kind of an open goal, to be honest. It was a clear through and through shot. All he had to do was toe poke that in. And with all due respect, if that had been Bobby, that would have been in the back of the net. That would have been dinked right in the back of the net without a shadow of doubt. And I don't know whether, like you said, Jota's had the last 3 games without a goal. I'm not worried about that. I'm really, really not concerned about that. Because it's not always about scoring goals per player. It's about the work rate they put in, and are they able to be creative and make goals for other players? That's it for me. But I will agree, it wasn't his best performance by far, but we didn't really have another option.
Yeah.
And Jota, I said it before, our players are getting rested a lot more. Excuse me.
Yeah. I think obviously, with Jota, it was obviously it's not like him. Continue your point, Soph.
Sorry, the washing machine just decided to start spinning in the background. But yeah, it wasn't Jota's most clinical game, and we are seeing players getting rested a lot more this season already, which is good. He was due a rest because it looks like Klopp is going to give people 2-3 difficult games, give them a break when they can. I don't expect to see Jota start on Wednesday now. I would have had he been rested on Saturday, but he obviously wasn't. He needs a bit of a break because he has ran the legs off, because we know Jota's not the type of player he's not like Salah, where Salah will basically run back and defend and then attack. He'll sit more further forward, but he runs the leg. He doesn't stay central or on the left. He'll flow in between and cut into midfield, and he does a lot of work rate on the ball and off the ball, and that's tiring for 90 minutes to do that. So to do that 3 games in a row, he's due a rest, and I think it showed massively in the Palace game. But who else did we have to come on?
Yeah, that's the issue. Ravi says it took us a bit of time to warm up in the game. Thoughts on Mane's Mane in the 100 goals club? Yeah, I think we'll get onto Mane in a bit, but yeah, and we'll talk about how good that is. Chris Welsh, Mane is so much better than last season already. I do think Mane was very good against Palace. So we'll get onto Mane's goal. Obviously it was a good positional knowledge awareness to be there, the alertest to tapping the rebound from Salah's shot, or Salah's header, I think it was. Yeah. So what do you think of the Mane goal? And also, how do you think of Mane's overall performance? Because obviously he's from a small section of Liverpool fans, coming for a lot of stick who are trying to claim he's finished. And obviously, like Ravis mentioned there, he's 100 goals now. And that's a standing record that he's produced since he's joined us. So yeah, what do you think of the Mane goal and his performance?
like I said, Mane's come under the microscope a little bit, hasn't he, really? And everybody is like overly critical of him. So I don't want to say he had a brilliant performance against Palace. I don't think he did. I think he had a solid performance against Palace, but he's capable of so much more. But like I said, because he's come under so much criticism and crossfire recently, everyone's going to overhype this, and you can't call a spade anything but a spade, can you? It was a good, solid performance, and that's what it was. And his goal was wonderful. Don't get me wrong, his goal was absolutely beautiful. Like it was just before half time, and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to go out." We've had 3 corners in a row. I was like, "I'm gonna go get us our drinks now." And by the time I'd walked from our seats to the stairs, we got another corner, and obviously Mane's goal went in, and it was a beautiful, beautiful goal. And well done to him, fair play, to getting it. But overall, he was good. I wouldn't say he's like the best Mane we've seen. There's still more to come from him, and I would assume that most Liverpool fans would hold him to a very high standard. It's like if Mo put that performance in that Mane did yesterday, would we say, "Oh, Mo had a brilliant game"? We go, "No, he had an alright game." Sometimes it's okay to have an alright game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it was anything like amazing, but I think like in terms of the performance he's done so far this season, I think it's probably one of his better performances so far. In terms of there were bits where he was, I know he lost the ball, but there's a bit in the first half where he did like a really good piece of skill. Then he gave the ball away, but it was much more improved in terms of energetic and trying to take on players. So, obviously if he loves obviously a goal against Palace. That's his. I think that he broke the record of scoring like the most times against the same team, 9 times.
9 consecutive games, yeah.
Yeah, I think Van Persie had it at 8 before. So, Mane is breaking records, and hopefully this Palace game now can be like a catalyst for him, where he can go on a scoring run because we know he's got it in him.
I see where you're coming from with that. Like, I hope that's a catalyst for him to go on a scoring run and that, but that's putting more pressure on him. In my opinion, I feel like you just kind of go, he had a good game. Let's see what happens from here on out. But going off the back of one good game with 1 goal and now going, he should go on a scoring spree, that's putting a lot of pressure on a player to contribute a lot of goals. It's a very difficult thing to do. You've got less than 3 seconds to make your decision before you shoot on target. It's hard, and I don't want to put that pressure on Mane to like, we need to go and score loads of goals now. I'd like him to, but I don't expect it off the back of that performance. Like, if he scores a hat-trick, then I'd be going, all right, yeah, maybe now we go on a goal scoring spree, but it was one goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but sometimes the 1 goal could be all that's needed for someone to get confidence.
Completely.
So, I mean, obviously I agree. Don't want to put loads of pressure on him, but, I'm hoping that he can then produce that against Brentwood on the weekend. We play them, because that should be a game where he, because they play quite attacking football, Brentford. So that should be a game where he can get chances. So obviously, yeah, for a lot of the game after that, it was 1-0 for a long period. I don't think we, and it felt as if obviously, like that. The odd occasion where I think there was a bit where Konate and Milner got mixed up. Well, Konate kicked the ball to no one, unhit a pass to Milner, and Palace nearly got through. And I think obviously there's a few times. Obviously, we'll get onto Alisson's performance, because I think he showed why he's world class in that game.
Yeah.
But did you at any point think, okay, with it being at 1-0 for so long, and obviously how the fine margin in games where a 1-0 scoreline, all it takes is one mistake from us, and the other teams equalise. Did you at any point feel, okay, we need to get this game wrapped up, or that the more this game goes on, that maybe it's giving Palace more impotence? And obviously, Alisson did have to make a couple of goal sweeper clearances and the odd save in the second half to keep us in the game. It will keep us in the 1-0 lead.
Honestly, like I said, I mentioned that first half hour before. I think for me, after we'd scored that first goal just on the edge of half time, that was like a massive lift. And then when we came out into the second half, I feel like we played a lot better. And even though, even though, obviously Alisson had to do Alisson things as expected, I wouldn't say that it worried me because I expected that from Palace, considering what we talked about in the pre-match about how obviously they've changed their dynamic. They've got very young attacking players at the front. One touch, two touch in the back of the net. I expected that high intensity press in the final third from them. I was expecting them to push through because we've not played them since they've changed their dynamic. It's going to take us time to because teams get used to how other teams play. You don't know exactly how they're going to play, but you've got an idea, haven't you? There's a familiarity about each team. When a team gets a new manager and goes through a complete rigmarole, and obviously you go from Hodgson, which is like defend the ball, 10 behind the ball at all time, to now this more progressive attack of football, it is a little bit unsettled. So I expected that to be bitty. I would say the only thing that really irritated me was the amount of fouls that Palace were throwing left, right, and centre. I wasn't worried that necessarily that they were going to score and equalise. I was worried as to whether we were going to be able to solidify our win with a second goal. It was on knife's edge. But what worried me is if we hadn't got that second goal, I was worried that with the tackles and the fouls they were throwing everywhere, and our players were the ones getting booked for it, that we were going to go down to 10 men at some point. The way that they kept going for Henderson after Henderson got a yellow, and they kept going over and over and over and over and over and over again at him. After they kept going at him, I was waiting for that second yellow because Henderson kept getting warned time and time again for fouls that were happening on him. And I just thought, we're going to get someone sent off and our heads are going to go here. And is that going to be what sends us down? But obviously, thankfully, we kept it together.
So I don't know because I've seen a few Palace fans crying about this. Did you believe that was a penalty by Tsimikas on Benteke? Because they said that was a Stonewall penalty. I think that it's not a penalty, but quite a few Palace fans are trying to say that's a Stonewall penalty.
What? I don't even know. I don't even know what part you're on about. When was that?
There's a bit. I think it was in the first half. They were attacking. Yeah, it was in the first half where I think the balls crossed in and Tsimikas. It looked as if there was a contact from Tsimikas and Benteke and he went down. I think it was the first half because I remember
they were attacking Cop End the first time, and that was right in front of us.
Yeah, there was a bit I think in the first half. If anyone else remembers it in the chat where Benteke went down, and they said that they're trying to claim that Tsimikas' left foot clipped his ankle or something. That's what. Yeah, I can't remember. It was somehow in the first half that happened. That's what they were crying about.
Honestly, I've no idea. I don't even know what that. So that says it all, really, doesn't it? The fact that I don't even remember it. So clearly not now.
No, yeah, because I just seen quite a few Palace fans in their post-match. Even like Steve, he posted that fair play to Liverpool, but something along the lines of Palace were denied a Stonewall penalty. I'm going to find out what
this is now because
I think that Chris is saying it went down easy. Benteke, he did go down easy, and he was looking for it.
Because the thing is, Palace went down a lot that game.
Saha did as well.
He dived much, and they never got booked for simulation at all. And the ref would actually be like, "No, you weren't even touched." So I probably do remember it, but there were that many dives that were made. Honest to God, it was painful.
Yeah.
Who's number 6 for Crystal Palace?
Let me look at the team sheet again.
Couldn't figure it out.
Lineups. Number 6 was Mark Guay, the Chelsea guy that got 18 million.
All he fucking did was dive. He spent more time on the fucking floor than he did playing football. It was painful to watch. I'm not being funny, but bloody hell, blatant dives every few minutes.
Yeah. So obviously we had the Thiago injury, which I thought he wasn't spectacular, but he was having a decent game. Obviously he had a few, maybe the odd occasion hairy moment, but I think overall, his passing was good. There was a bit where he dummied a player, did a bit of skill that got the crowd on their feet. And
I know what you mean now.
Oh, in terms of the penalty?
Yeah, I found it.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking not.
Yeah, Chris Ross, I don't think it was a penalty, but dangerous for Simicas food far around. Yeah, I think that was.
He didn't even see him. It was coming off the end of a cross, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he was trying to get on the end of it, and Costas wasn't even looking at him.
Yeah.
So how can you foul somebody with intent for a penalty when you don't even know that player's there, when you're not even looking at them?
That's why I don't think VAR even looked at it, because I don't think they think it was a penalty. But Palace fans were crying about it.
Try some more. But yeah, no, I know what you mean now. Sorry, I had to look it up. I was like, who's bothering me? But sorry, got it on Thiago.
Well, yeah, I was saying that Thiago, obviously his injury it was not serious, hopefully. I mean, Pep said it's only 2 games, but I thought he was okay for most of the game before he went off injured.
Yeah, he was good. I was pleased with Thiago. It didn't look like anything serious either. It was just on a touchline. He was in a bit of a scrap with 2 Palace players, and he went down to reach the ball, and I think he just overstretched. And as he stood up, he just sat down off the side of the pitch and was like, nah. And I think it was just more a precautionary thing. I think he felt a twinge, felt a little pull, and it's just like, rest there. He's knocked there. But I don't think there's anything more than that. There was no significant contact for it to be a lengthy, long-term injury. There was no overextension. I mean, I'm not an expert. I'm not a medical expert, obviously, but from what you could see, it didn't look like there was much in it. But when you saw him go down, you knew he'd felt something. But his performance up till then was good. But I did say, not long before Thiago went off, I was like, we need to change this midfield a little bit. I was like, well, Henderson was absolutely phenomenal game.
I think Fabinho wasn't that great yesterday on Saturday.
But you can't take Fabinho off.
I know, but I don't think he got caught possession twice. I don't think he was that good that Saturday.
Henderson was having such a stellar game, amazing performance, that if you'd taken Fabinho off, and say Thiago hadn't got injured, you'd left Thiago on, you'd taken Fabinho off to give him a break, then you would have had to have dropped Henderson into the 6, and Henderson would have faltered then, and that would have left us very, very open. It was easier and made more sense to keep Fabinho in the 6 role, even though he was obviously not the most amazing performance he ever had. It was a solid performance, but it wasn't like a 10 out of 10. It was a 7 or something, really.
I love that.
But, oh my God, all we did is sing that song. It's been stuck in my head for days. I walk around but yeah, I think if Thiago hadn't got injured, I can't even see Fabinho being taken off then. Thiago would have been taken off not long after his injury anyway, in my opinion, and Naby would have come on, which obviously was the very right call. Naby has been in absolute perfect form, and his complete bewilderment at his own celebration says it all, doesn't it? But yeah, I mean, I was pleased with the performance, but it wasn't their best. But it was a solid it was a champion's performance in the sense that champions don't give up. Sometimes you've got to get the wins through nitty-gritty fights, and that's what it was.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. Everyone, if you're just joining or just do smash that subscribe button if you haven't done already, we appreciate it. So moving on to Salah's goal. So obviously, I thought maybe in the first half that Benteke was winning a lot of the corners when we were taking them. I think he was winning quite a few of them. But I think in the second half, I think he'd gone off by then, Benteke. Maybe he had. But anyhow, Van Dijk won the header, and the ball fell to Salah. And I think obviously the guy who's marking him, what's his name? Came off the bench. Riderwell just left him unmarked, and
Mm.
just a clinical Salah finish. Yeah, that's obviously Salah's. What I think he's got 99 goals, 99 goal involvements in like 101 games or something now.
Well, it's
So
101 goal, isn't it?
yeah, so Salah's consistency of scoring goals regularly it's ridiculous. You know,
His physicality and his mentality are just absolute top draw. There's no way you can describe Salah apart from absolute phenomenal player. You know, there are out and out strikers in the world who don't get that many goals and that many assists and creative plays, and he's a winger. He's not an out and out striker. He's a winger, and he's absolutely phenomenal. And I just adore him. I just don't care what you say. Absolutely fantastic player.
what I love about him as well is the fact that he even got back and covered Milner against Saha and did that
Yeah,
skill against Saha.
that's what I said earlier, didn't I? Like with Salah, like he's an attacking player who's very goal orientated. He's so competitive with himself. He gets so infuriated when he doesn't score a goal, even if it's in training. And you watch him, and for 90 minutes, he runs the length and breadth of that pitch. He goes into midfield, he goes into front, he goes into defence, he goes into right back, he supports. He is an all-round team player in every aspect of the word. And no matter what you do, like Salah will be back in defence covering and helping and assisting out there, against Zaha and Benteke. And then you'll blink. The ball will get crossed in a diagonal ball, and you blink, and Salah's up the front again at top of the wing. And you're thinking, how the fuck's he done that? He's just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful player.
Yeah, I just hope that he signs that contract soon and we get him wrapped up because, he can go down as one of the best strikers that we've had in the last 30 years.
Does his celebration alone not tell you that he doesn't want to go anywhere?
Yeah, but just hope it gets done then. Yeah, I don't think he wants to go. I think he wants to stay.
I think
we can agree in terms of salary and stuff.
I think the difficulty with Salah is not negotiation in terms of salary. I don't think that's an issue. I think because with Genie wanted more than we were willing to offer him for what he was capable of doing. We know what Salah's worth is. He's worth his weight in gold and then double it. Do you know what I mean? No one's denying the quality of that player. I think Salah's contract has got a lot of underpinning work that needs to be sorted. His contract is not as straightforward as other players, in my personal opinion. I don't know what's in his contract. I don't know what's going on. But it's all just conjecture at this point. But when you look at Jordan Henderson, it was boom, done. Trent, boom, done. Alisson, boom, done. It was very simple, very easy to do. I think Salah's is a little bit more complex because of the type of player he is for us and the quality he provides. We'd never find another player like that. So I think it's just going to take a little bit of time to sort that out. But there will become a point where I'll start getting worried about him not signing it. But for right now, I think it's just logistics, in my opinion.
Well, I hope so. I hope that they see that he was to leave and go to any other club, he'd earn 300k minimum. So, but yeah, hopefully he does do it. But moving on to Gator's goal, obviously. At that point, Liverpool were 2-0 up. I think Palace started to defend even more sloppier. I think the keeper didn't cover himself in great colours coming off the line. He didn't come off the line for that. But Gator's strike was outstanding. That's all you can say. It's spectacular.
It was that moment, where your heart, like someone gets a ball on the edge of the box and you just go, hit it! You don't expect them to actually hit it. And everyone kind of went, has that just happened? Like, well deserved. I will hold my hands up, and you know very well that I was like, ship Naby off, sell him, get your money back, what you can, recoup your losses type thing. He's done. And he's very quickly changing my mind, because I was like, how many more chances can you give Naby Gator? Clearly one more. Because so far, so fucking good, isn't it?
Yeah, I think with Gator, I think because they've been able to manage his minutes as well, that's helped.
Yeah.
So he's not had to play loads of games in a row, which I don't think I don't know if we know yet if he can handle that amount of games in a row. So they've managed him properly.
He's on the right regime as well.
Yeah, I think also a lot of the times he's come on and played on the left-hand side, which I think is his best position rather than being on the right-hand side in midfield. And also, yeah, it gives us like a different dimension. You know, the fact that you can bring on Kate and he scores a worldy goal, or you can play Thiago or you can play Jones. There's different options there for different games. So that's a positive. So I'm happy for him, you know, Keita. You know, obviously, hopefully, you know, if he could also hearing still rumors that we want to give Keita a new contract. So hopefully, if he can continue this up, then he'll be worthy of that contract. But so far, yeah, he's good, and he's doing the stuff that Klopp wants him to do, which I think a lot of people in other games when they criticised Keita this season, because he's doing what Klopp wants him to do in terms of doing like the Gini role. He's not been asked to play sometimes as an attacking player in that sense, you know. So people need to let go of this Keita Leipzig, because that's a completely different style of play and different player that he had to play. But moving to Milner, I'm going to give like a big section out to Milner, because, you know, he's Mr. Utility Man. He's 36, and he's still, I think the stats that someone posted up yesterday was ridiculous. Like, he was first for a lot of things in terms of runs, in terms of presses, like, and the fact that apart from the odd shaky moment, he had Zaha on toast. Zaha didn't get anything from him. So I do want to just give credit to Milner. You know, the fact that he's willing to just go at right back, left back, wherever you play him, and he'll give 110%.
Yeah,
and he'll hold a high standard. You know, he's the only one that's running back, trying to stop the ball from going over the line in the first half when Alisson hit the ball, saved it under the post. So, you know, like he's I'll be sad if he goes this season, but at the end of the season, if you don't get his next contract. But yeah, you can't. What more can you say about Milner?
Yeah, brilliant. You know, I'm trying to think if there's anything else to add to that, but I think you've pretty much hit the nail on the head in terms of Milner's performance yesterday. I don't think anything I add now will just be me repeating what you've said in a different way, to be honest with you. He was just...
Like Chris Boss, that's it.
Yeah, best free transfer. He was just phenomenal. He was strong. He's not the quickest. He's not the most technical. But there's a reason he's called Jack of all trades. He will slot in wherever you want, and he will put a shift in. And he put a shift in at right back, and he didn't miss a beat for me. He kind of just did everything you wanted. What it said on the tin, he did it. And what more could you ask for? He kept, Palace's front line quiet. He muted most attacks down that right side. What more can you want?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think he obviously. I think we've all said anything on Milner there. Just want to talk about Alisson. You know, obviously Alisson, Mr. Alisson again. You know, to honest, like when he's called upon, he produces brilliance, world class brilliance. You know, and I've said it before. Like, it's refreshing to have a keeper that has that level of concentration, like where he's switched on. Doesn't matter what minute of the game he's switched on. Like, he's alert to danger. You know, that's why we always, people criticize us with a high line, but the reason why we have that high line is so Alisson can come off his line because he's so good at playing sweeper keeper. As Chris Wells says, he's best keeper in the league. I think he's the best keeper in the world. That's no debate for me. And once again, he showed it. You know, like he showed the benefits of having a top class keeper. And, the amount of years when we had an Achilles over goalkeeper, you don't have to worry about Alisson. And that's what, he's just, we're lucky to have him because he's indispensable, just like Van Dijk, Salah, and Fabinho and Henderson are.
I think the only thing with Alisson for me is there was one moment in the game. Obviously, Chris, that West Brom goal will never be forgotten of Alisson. Alisson did what Alisson does, comes out, sweeper keeper. There was one incident, though, in the game that stands out, and I think it was it him and Virgil? Can't remember whether it was Virgil or Canate, and it was Virgil. And Virgil was running with the attacker. I can't remember Benteke or Zaha. And Virgil had it. He had it ready to clear it. And there was no communication. And Alisson just ran out of nowhere and nearly dispossessed Virgil and gave the ball away to Palace because they had players waiting right behind him. And he left the goal wide open. And there were players running through on it because they were on a strong attack counter. And I was like, at that moment for me, it was like, there was no need for you to come out and be a super keeper there. No need. Virgil completely had that. He had Milner tracking back at the sides. And then, not Milner, he had Costas, on the sides. And that there was no need. And that was the only moment where I kind of went, oh, what you doing there? Like, get back in your box, lads. But other than that, there's a reason he's the world's best keeper, isn't it?
Yeah. Ravi's asking our thoughts on Gomez's return. I think with Gomez, it's just going to take him time to get up to speed. He had the worst injury. Yeah. So it's going to take him a while, and Klopp's going to ease him in. Christian Edwards says Alisson's passes is better this season. Yeah, I think he does look different in terms of some of his passing is much better than it. It was always good, but I think he's got better.
Yeah. I just want to go back onto Gomez quickly. I think when you look at Gomez, this is not his first leg break. He's had significant injuries. He's had quite a few breaks, and it takes its toll. And every time you break a bone, even when it's repaired and it's healed and it's strong again, it's more prone to breakage again. It takes longer. Every break you get, it takes longer to heal it again. And you've seen the scar on his knee. You've seen it was quite an extensive procedure he's had done to repair his leg, and that's going to take time, a lot more time. And people go, oh well, Virgil's fine after his ACL, but there's a difference between tearing your ACL and having that repaired successfully and having to go back in and repair a bone that has already been previously broken.
Yeah, definitely agree there. So I agree 100% what you're saying there. So just obviously want to touch on the defense, and just to highlight, obviously, Konate, I thought, was a beast. It took him slow to get into the game, and he had the odd hairy moment, like I said, the bit where he tried passing to Milner and hit the pass, and then Palace nearly got in. But other than that, I think he dealt with Zaha. He matched him for pace and strength, and I think the stats show it. Like I think he won nearly every aerial. His tackling was good. Blocks, interceptions, had it all, and he looked like he's been playing the Premiership before, for me, and obviously there's still more for him to come from him, but I still would probably for the time being still have Matip over him with VVD, but it's good to know that you've got like another top class centre back as well as Gomez that's there.
Yeah, like Konate is new. He's gonna take a little bit of time. He didn't look out of place, but he didn't look seasoned either at the same time. He was comfortable, but he needs to be stronger, in my opinion. And that just comes with time. That just comes with building a relationship with your centre-back partners, with your full-backs, your midfielders in front. You have to build that relationship and that connection, don't you? You have to build that chemistry. And he's probably got a great relationship with them, but he needs an on-pitch relationship as well, not just in training. And that only comes with minutes. And there are only certain games right now that we're able to embed him in at that. I completely agree. At the minute, for me, Matip gets chosen every single time over. If Matip's fit and Matip can play and he's not tired, then he goes in next to Virgil for me at the moment. Their partnership has been world class. But I think moving forward, it will be Konate who starts to take the reins of Matip. That's the idea that I think personally. But, time will tell. but he was solid. He didn't skip a beat really, did he? He never looked uncomfortable.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing him more of him later on in the season. Also just to highlight Tsimikas, I think he had a very good game again, and I think he obviously got at least one or two assists from the court cross, because he crossed the one for Salah, that one of Mane's goal. I'm not sure if it was him that did the Salah one as well, but I still think obviously defensively over the certain types of defensively he just needs to improve in terms of, but with him is also he's still learning, adjusting to a new league team style.
Virgil assisted Salah's goal.
Who?
Virgil assisted Salah's goal.
Well, who put the cross in? Well, was that because it wasn't that from a corner? I can't remember. Was it Milner or Tsimikas that took it?
Well, I don't know, but Virgil assisted it, so
yeah.
Fuck knows. Probably involved in the play. If it was off a corner, was it off a corner? I can't fucking remember. This is why we can't do these post matches like 2 days after. I forget.
I think it was, but yeah. But anyway, he had a good game again, and he's proven to be like a great understudy, and it allows us to rest Robin more, which is what we've always wanted. So, I think people were quick to write Tsimikas off in the summer, and I was saying no, he's a very good left back. Just he was unlucky this next. But he's going to be Chris Welsh said Tsimikas took the corner. But yeah, so yeah, I think he's been had another good game. So he needs to keep up. With Virgil, I mean, what can we say? Virgil another good game. So
expected now, isn't it?
Yeah, expected.
Highest rated player in Liverpool squad with an 8.1. Do you know?
Yeah.
Everyone else on average was a 7.3. Virgil's there with an 8.1.
Yeah, so he's outstanding as always, Virgil. I think what one highlight says,
huh? He did get spun though.
Yeah, I think with Virgil, I still think he's taking time to get back his 100% best.
Oh yeah. So, yeah. But his 80% is better than most people's 100.
Yeah.
But it did make me laugh because when he got spun and turned, and I went, "Oh, that'll be all over fucking Twitter," because that's what it does. He makes one tiny mistake, and you just know they're going to run with it, don't you?
Yeah, I think that's going to happen. Those moments, because he's still obviously getting used to his injury and recovering from it. Just want to highlight. Obviously, that was another clean sheet for us. That's 4 out of the 5 games we've won with 1 goal conceded. Everyone's going off about Chelsea. The media keep going about Chelsea looking unbeatable. Sky having the loving Chelsea up. BBC pundits are, but Liverpool the same points, match for points with them, the same kind of scoreline. Good to see you, Eagle Eye Cherry. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you, Rich. Good to see you. I'll give you that, Rich. You gave us a good game. And I think Palace, if you play like that for the rest of the season, you're gonna have a good season, because it's good to see you playing good attacking football and actually taking it to us. Just it's a good. I hope this has been a good start for us, so we can keep this up. Then who knows? But so far, it's been a really good season for us so far. Who's moving on? We'll go on to man of match. Who's the man of match?
Henderson.
Okay, Henderson. I think my man of match. I'm actually going to give it to Milner because of how he actually dealt with Zaha. Because I think that was a big thing that could have. I don't even think Zaha was poor. I think that was a big performance from Milner. And for finish off with, who impressed you and left you wanting more?
Oh, sorry, I'm knackered. Who impressed me? I'm gonna go with Milner for impressed because he just like the reason you chose him for man of the match. I'll choose him for impressing me, but
Yep.
for me, Hendo just stood out a little bit more for man of the match. Who left me wanting more? I'm gonna go with Jota. I feel like he played a good game, but I just expect a little bit better from him. Not that he played bad. It was a bit quiet for me.
Yeah, I think since you're going Milner, I think I'll go with Konate. Impressed me. I thought after a shaky start, he grew into the game. Who left more and more? I'll go with him. I think Jota. I think we know Jota's better than what he's shown there, and I think he could do with maybe being rotated for a weekend game, and Bobby comes in, and Bobby was fit.
Yeah.
But I don't know how fit Bobby is going to be for that. So it probably will be Jota, but I think that rotation I think keeps Jota on his heels because he knows that he can't rest his laurels because Bobby's there and stuff. So he definitely wanted more. Otherwise, everyone in the chat, you've been amazing as always. We appreciate it. If you haven't done, do smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't done. We'll be back for the weekend game. So keep an eye out. We'll probably have a post-match preview on the Friday, and then I'll do the watch on the Saturday. So keep an eye for that. Otherwise, have a great evening, everyone. Sophie, have a great evening.
You too.
And otherwise, up the Reds, everyone, and we'll see you all soon.